Good day, everyone. Information control and privacy. Resources are the total means available to a company for increasing production or profit, including land, labor, capital, and raw materials. Without resources, organization would cease to exist. Physical resources, they are tangible and can be easily identified. Physical resources usually start from acquisition and are then assembled to be available for use when needed. Very often, the assembly process entails converting essentially raw materials into a defined form such as wood, cement, and steel for building construction. Once these resources have been assembled, conceptual resources are non-tangible and are considered valuable for what they represent rather than their physical makeup. Money is considered a conceptual resource as each paper bill represents a specific monetary value as opposed to the paper where it is printed. The same goes for human resources. Informations as resource. Information can be simply defined as facts about something or someone that are provided or learned. Facts are considered relevant truths which have been validated and identified. Data are considered facts, therefore processed data are considered as information as they are organized in such a way that they have additional value beyond the value of the facts themselves. Unlike other organizational resources, information is considered expandable. Information can be expanded without compromising its integrity. An example is a person's personal information. While knowing his or her name, contact details, and current work may be useful, having the person's full curriculum vitae becomes from useful for those in, for example, the HR department. Compressible. Although expanded information can give a more detailed explanation, it may not always be needed. An example of this is in news sites. Instead of a barrage of details, news sites would often give one-liner headlines that provide enough information about the news. Another example is a research abstract. An abstract is normally a half or a one-page summary of the entire research. Transportable information, especially digital information, is easily transportable with the use of the internet and various technologies. Information can be sent through any of the following: 1. Send via email. 2. Share via Facebook. 3. Copy onto a flash drive. 4. Upload on YouTube. Diffusive. Gossip or rumors tend to spread easily. Unfortunately, the same applies to any kind of information, be it true or not. Shareable. Since information can be easily spread, it is considered shareable as well. Information can be kept, calling it a secret. However, once a person decides to tell it to someone, then he or she will no longer have control over it. In some cases, certain parts of the secret can be kept. One such example is to the secret recipe of KFC. It is known that there are one secret herbs and spices, but as to what these herbs and spices are, people can only guess. Valuable information. Let us say your professor assigns you to research on the different parts of a computer system. You plan to 100K for information online through search engines such as Google. How can you tell if the information you can get is useful or, in this case, valuable for your research? Information is said to be valuable if it has the following characteristics. Stair and Reynolds 2016. Accurate. Accurate information is error-free. In some cases, inaccurate information is generated because inaccurate data was processed. Analysts this as garbage in, garbage out, by typing parts of a computer. In the search bar, Google gives you a list of several websites which contain the information you are looking for. However, how do you determine which are accurate and which are inaccurate? Usually, it is better to trust sites that are formal in nature rather than informal ones such as blogs or forums. Formal information, it is official and authoritative. Informal or information, it is more casual and less authoritative. It is meant to be taken seriously and is presented in a formal manner. It is presented in a less formal manner. It is usually more carefully prepared and verified than informal information, and its accuracy and reliability should also be higher. It is possibly less reliable. Complete Complete information contains all the important facts. This is especially important in the field of medicine. Missing information could spell disaster or worse, lead to death. And the information regarding allergies has been left out. Doctor might inadvertently give wrong medication that could cause severe allergic reaction to the patient. Economical. Information should be relatively economical to produce. Decision makers must always balance the value of information with the cost of producing it. With the spread of the internet, information dissemination has become easier, faster, and a lot cheaper. However, is the price worth it for the integrity of the information? Reliable. Reliable information can be depended on. In many cases, the reliability of information depends on the validity of the data collection method. In other cases, reliability depends on the source of information, which brings us back to valuable information being economical. Torrent sites offer pirated software, music, and movies for free. However, the resolution of the movie downloaded, for example, might not be clear and might even contain malware and virus that could infect the computer system. Flexible. Flexible information can be used for different purposes. Depending on the situation, personal information can be used for a variety of ways. A school ID can be used to enter the school premise. The same ID can be used to transact business with the registrar's office during enrollment. It can be used to open a bank account or to apply for a student driver's permit. Relevant. Relevant information is important to the decision maker. For example, your assignment calls for searching parts of a computer online. You do not visit sites that tackle parts of the human body because they are irrelevant to your research topic. Simple. Information should also be simple, not overly complex. Sophisticated and detailed information may not be needed. Complex information may sometimes lead to confusion, which could result in inaccuracy of details. Timely. Timely information is delivered when it is needed. This is true in the case of weather predictions, stock markets, forecasts, and traffic management. Verifiable. This means that information can be checked for correctness and authenticity. Most authors include references, bibliography, or citation in their works to enable readers to verify the content. Accessible. Information should be easily accessible by authorized users to be obtained in their format of the right time to meet their needs. In Korea, the US, the UK, and China, a mobile phone can be used to pay for day-to-day transactions. A mobile pay app can be downloaded on the smartphone in which the user's credit card or debit card is enrolled. Samsung Pay, Apple Pay, and Google Pay all use near-field communications and NFC technology, so instead of sweeping the physical card for payment, the mobile phone is simply tap on the card reader or terminal and payment is immediately recorded. Secure. Information should be secure from access by unauthorized users. Mobile pay systems such as Samsung Pay and Apple Pay use biometric authentication, typically a fingerprint scan before a transaction is made. This ensures that only the owner of the phone can use the app for payments. Value of information. Information is considered valuable mainly for business purposes as businesses depend on it to produce quality products and services. This helps organizations become globally competitive and be up to date with the latest trends and technology, with businesses gearing towards IT automation. The strategy now is to come up with business activities that shorten time frames while increasing productivity. All of this is possible if companies have access to valuable information. Valuable information helps managers make good decisions, which is why valuable or useful information is called knowledge. Information as a resource has four characteristics, namely, it has zero marginal cost, 2 is non-rivalrous, 3 is non-exclusive, and 4 does not exhibit high degrees of transparency. Zero marginal cost. The cost of producing the first copy of an information good may be substantial, but the cost of producing or reproducing additional copies is negligible. Avengers: Age of Ultron, released in 2015, is one of the most expensive Hollywood movies ever, made with an estimated budget of, however, buying a DVD copy of this said movie today would cost about $20 in Amazon.com. That non-rivalrous simultaneous consumption of information by consumers is possible. Movies nowadays are sold not only as DVD copies, there are also digital formats which anyone can watch online or download on their mobile devices, either as a rental or paid subscription. Non-exclusive exclusion is not a natural property of information 011 goods, though it is possible to construct exclusion artificially. However, the nature of information is that if it is known, it is difficult to exclude others from its use. Through emails and SMS, one can identify only intended recipient of the message through a specific email address or a phone number. This is much more evident in social media such as Facebook, in which a share automatically means sending to everyone else. No transparency. To evaluate the information must be known, so one has to invest in learning how to evaluate it. A programmer undergoing boot camp training to learn a new programming language needs to invest time, money, and effort. The more complicated information economics, since people have widely different values for a particular piece of information. Value-based pricing leads naturally to differential pricing. In economics, a good is considered to be an experience good is consumers must experience it to value it. Virtually any new product is an experience good, and marketers have developed strategies such as free samples, promotional pricing, and testimonials to help consumers learn about new goods. Browsing previews. An example of this strategy is movie trailers that normally run from 1 to 3 minutes give viewers a glimpse of what the film is all about. Trailers normally include highlights from the film which can leave the audience excited to watch the entire film later on. Branding. Big names such as Microsoft and Apple have no issues when it becomes to launching new products, as people have already established their trust on these brands. According to American Telecommunications or Telco company Sprint, when Apple introduced iPhone 7 in September 2016, pre-order sales shot up by 375% compared to the launch of iPhone 6. Reputation is general people value an organization's ability to make their lives easier and better by using information about their products and operations. This includes providing predetermined information to lessen the decision making of individuals. Think of it as providing additional information regarding the information itself. Google.com, as an example, whenever you try to search for something in Google search, it gives you a list of websites that pertain to the keywords you have typed in. This means that Google has provided you with a list of information regarding the information you are looking for. Another example is buying online via Amazon.com. When you browse through different items, Amazon would also suggest at the bottom of the screen other items related to what you are looking for, or inform you about what other items people who bought the item you are looking at also bought. Information overload. Information is now available so quickly, ubiquitously, and inexpensively. Last March 2016, Cisco conducted a study that made the end of 2016 global internet traffic will have surged 1.1 zettabytes per year. And by 2019, global traffic is expanded to hit 2 zettabytes per year. Just how big is a zettabyte? A typical external drive is 1 terabyte in size. 1 zettabyte is equal to terabytes or 1 billion external drives. This is because information produced at rapidly increasing rates due to the following reasons: easy duplication and transmission and information. A picture posted on Facebook, which is also posted on Instagram and Twitter, means that the same picture has been posted 3 times on 3 different sites. Increase in communication methods. What used to be mobile phones for SWIS and computers for emails are smartphones that can do both. Also, a simple text message is no longer restricted to SMS via telecom providers. Through mobile apps such as Viber and Messenger, people can now send private message or PM or direct message or DM. Growth archive or historical information, print or hard copies, are now being replaced by digital ones. These digital copies are stored on cloud servers that offer maximum storage capacity to end users. One such example is libraries, which contain not only physical books but also computers and other mobile devices to access e-books, e-journals, electronic readings, and other online resources. So where does all this information come from? Who and where are these producers are consumers of information? According to the 2018 Global Digital Suite of reports from We Are Social and Hootsuite, more than half the world now uses the internet, up to 7% year on year. Qatar and United Arab Emirates top of internet penetration ranking with 99% of their total population using the internet. For 3 years in a row, Filipinos have been spending the greatest amount of time on social media with an average of 4 hours a day. More than two-thirds of the world's population now has a mobile phone, with most people now using smartphones. More than half of the world's web traffic now comes from more than 60% of all mobile connections around the action shop world are now broadband. More than 1 in 5 of the world's population shop online in the past 30 days. Mobile, social media, and mobile commerce. The abundance of mobile devices has greatly changed the way people manage their day-to-day activities. Is business, for example, having a shop where customers can easily go to used to be enough. However, with the introduction of the internet market, shift from the brick and mortar setup to an online operation more commonly known as a commerce. And now, with mobile internet, people can access internet services without the need for computers. They have their smartphones, tablets, and other mobile devices connected to the network to send and receive information wherever they are and whenever they want to. This connectivity has paved the way to two new scenarios in communication. Mobile social media is the accessing of social media sites such as Facebook and Snapchat using a mobile device. The device may have an app installed to open Instagram, for example, or it can use browser installed in the mobile device to open Twitter. A study conducted by Comscore in 2016 reveals the impact of social media on internet users. The same study also shows that nearly 80% of individuals browse through their social media accounts using their mobile phones. Noticeably, people are using their desktops less and less in accessing websites. Mobile has grown so fast that it's now the leading digital platform, with a total activity on smartphones and tablets accounting for 62% of digital media time spent, and apps alone now representing the majority of digital media time at 54%, Dela and Tipsman 2016. M-commerce. M-commerce or mobile commerce was a term used during the 1997 Global Mobile Commerce Forum by Kevin Duffy. He described it as the delivery of electronic commerce capabilities directly into the consumer's hand anywhere via wireless technology. The use of mobile devices has paved the way for data to be transmitted and received much faster without compromising security and scalability. The global trend is using mobile devices for socializing and doing commercial transactions is in increasing. Companies are now using digital platforms to market their products and services. Industries that are now embracing M-commerce include: 1. Financial services. Banks have introduced online banking a few years back. However, nowadays, majority of bank transactions such as money transfer, bills payment, and even stock portfolios, and stock transaction can now be done using the bank's mobile. 2. Mobile ticketing. As payments can be done online, receipts on of transactions can also be sent on mobile devices. Airline companies encourage their customers to book their flights online after reach there. Booking reservation is sent via email or through their mobile app. The booking ticket can be shown at the airport and it's accepted even as an electronic copy. 3. Service or retail. As consumers are now able to place and pay for orders using their mobile devices, the e-commerce trend has shifted from desktop computer to mobile devices. It also includes content purchasing such as music, movies, and image, among others. Another trend seen is the in application or cases made by mobile phone users. This is prevalent is gaming application in which users buy virtual goods or upgrade to the next game level. Information services. These include the delivery of news stock, quotes, sports, figures, emergency reports, and weather and traffic updates to a single mobile device. Waze is an example of an application that delivers customized tram information which is based on a user's actual travel patterns. It uses geolocation technology to pinpoint the whereabouts of the user while on the move. Another example of an application that uses location-based services is Google Maps. Information control, which with so much information around, how do you make sure they are safe from illegal activities? A large requirement for information controls comes from commerce industry and copyright owners. In general, information control comes in the form of keeping secrets inside a business or selling IPR, intellectual property rights, to those prepared for case. Is information control is about allowing those who have appropriate authority access to and use of information on the basis of the authority that they hold. But why is there a need for control in the first place? Earlier in this chapter, the concept of information being non-rivalrous and non-exclusive has been discussed. An example is movies being sold in different formats, DVDs, MP4, etc. If that is the case, how can you make sure that the said movie will not be distributed illegally? Information control. Example of software privacy as identified by the Software Alliance 2018 include distributing software or mobile apps from the internet is a manner of violates or license terms. Buying a single copy of a software program and installing it on multiple devices without authorization. Making and or sharing copies of installation CDs. Sharing the login credentials without authorization. Use to access a web-based software application, software as a service. While measures are in place such DVD region codes and such. Adam Niederer in 2011 identified four issues which further complicate the problem on information control: convergence, 2 scale, 3 volume, and 4 unprecedented individual empowerment, user generation of content. 1. Convergence. Technological advancement and social media have paved the way for media content such as music and movies to be distributed from their traditional distribution platforms. What consumers used to buy in the form of CDs or DVDs, media content can now be searched and accessed and consumed using multiple devices and even through different distribution networks. One such example is Spotify. Consumers before would buy physical albums in the forms of CDs and later transition to digital copies, typically both via iTunes Store for Apple. However, with social media having a big effect on song reviews and recommendation, a mobile app such as Spotify is able to create playlists which can be listed to and it, if wanted, downloaded for a fee. As a result, it is now possible to disseminate, find, or consume the same content information via multiple devices or distribution networks. This convergence of devices and networks, according to DERA 2011, has created issues instead of maintaining an effective information control policy. 2. Scale. For those who like to watch Japanese anime and Korean dramas, English subtitles are a must before fans would wait days or weeks before the subtitles become available for viewing. This is because the subtitles are actually translated, edited, and embedded by fans of the show, most of whom are not professionals. Majority of them are students or young adults who simply like watching the series. With technology and fast internet connectivity, viewers no longer need to wait days to watch the foreign shows with English subtitles. Oftentimes, and subtitles are ready within a few hours after the show has been aired in its local country. This is because the internet has given everyone access to everything they would like to search, upload, and download in the world. Technology such as Google Translate has also helped make translation of these shows much faster. Concerns regarding copyright have greatly increased because of this. But while some countries, such as China and North Korea, impose certain restrictions on what their citizens can and cannot access online, Tier 2011 mentions that the scale of modern digital speech and content dissemination still greatly complicates government efforts and control information flows. 3. Volume. Nowadays, news and media outlets abound in print and online news. Agencies such as Manila Bulletin or the Philippine Star have not only print copies of their newspaper but also digital copies which can be accessed through their websites mb.com.ph and www.philstar.com respectively. Broadcasting companies such as ABS-CBN and GMA also have television broadcast, radio broadcast, TV radios, and news websites, most of which have the same content. This development can be attributed on the increasing volume of media content and communications activities happening across the world, greatly complicating government regulatory efforts of control information. For unprecedented individual empowerment. The popularity of social media such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram has made of it possible for individuals to post anything they want. This also includes creation of blogs, which have become mainstream media for individuals to showcase their talent, skills, and hobbies. This creates issues when it comes to content restriction, as most people are doing this using their private accounts unless reported. The said content will be difficult to control. So, how do we control information dissemination? Organizations such as the Software Alliance, software industries such as Microsoft and IBM, as well as government entities in countries across the globe are working in hand to solve the issue of software piracy. One solution they have come up with is identifying inclusive rights to information. As with any given physical asset, this has led to the identification of intellectual property rights. Intellectual property, or IP, intellectual property UP, refers to a number of distinct types of intangible assets for which a set of exclusive rights or recognized IP includes musical, literary, and artistic works such as Taylor Swift new album, J.K. Rowling new book, and the latest iPhone. However, IP is not just limited to these items. It can also include words, phrases, symbols, and even designs. Are you familiar with the following logos? IP is any creation or product of the human mind and may be expressed in the form of original ideas, expression, and processes. Intellectual property rights, or IPR, are the rights given to persons over their creations. They usually give the creator an exclusive rights over the use of his or her creation for a certain period of time according to the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines Republic Act number 8293 and 1998. IPR consists of the following: 1. Copyright of relevant related rights; 2. Trademarks and service marks; 3. Geographic indications; 4. Industrial design; 5. Patents; 6. Layout designs, topographies of integrated circuits or ICs; 7. Protection of undisclosed information. The Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, or IP Philippines, is the government agency in charge of the implementation of the law protecting intellectual property rights in the Philippines as provided for under RA 8293, or the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines, and the revised Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines known as RA 10372. Copyright and related rights. Copyright is a set of exclusive rights granted by a state of the creator of an original work or their assignee for a limited period of this in exchange for the public disclosure of the work, and it includes the right to copy, distribute, and adapt the work. Copyright owners can license or permanently transfer or assign their exclusive rights others. Digital rights, on the other hand, is the permission tied to individuals to legitimately perform actions involving the use of a computer, any electronic device, or a communications network. It is particularly related to the protection and realization of existing rights in the content of new digital technologies, especially the internet. Copyright provides protection for original expression, which includes literary, artistic, scholarly, and scientific creations such as books, articles, newspapers, lectures, letters, musical compositions, and painting. It also extends to the derivative works such as illustrations, maps, photographic works, advertisement, computer programs, etc. In the Philippines, all copyrighted materials are recorded and stored at the National Library or the Supreme Court Library of RA 10372 in 2013. Digital Rights Management. Digital Rights Management, or DRM, is used to describe the processes by which the author or publisher of a work exerts his or her rights to control that the purchaser of the work is entitled to do. This represents the control by which one can prevent a person or an organization from copying, printing, editing, or otherwise making the privileged information available to other people. Thus, companies and organizations have come up with possible solutions of this digital dilemma. The following are techniques designed to control access and reproduction of online information. 1. Encryption. Encryption is the process of converting data or information in such a way that only authorized parties can understand. Its primary purpose is to protect the confidentiality of digital data stored on computer systems or transmitted via the internet or other computer networks. Encryption occurs every time someone uses an ATM or buys something online with a smartphone, makes a mobile phone call, or presses a key fob to unlock a car. This is done so that information being sent is kept safe and secure. 2. Serial keys, also known as a product key or a software key. It is a series of alphanumeric characters acting as a key to denote that the product of software is original. In some cases, product key are used of product activation. One such example is Microsoft Windows OS. A product key is used to activate the operating system online. Online activation helps maintain software authenticity by making sure no one else has used the same product key. P. Scrambling. Data scrambling is done to hide sensitive information from unauthorized users. Scrambling is accomplished by the addition of components to the original signal or the changing of some important components of the original signal is ordered to make extraction of the original signal difficult. It is often done with the aid of encryption, where region coding identifies which players can only play certain DVDs. Computers with DVD drives becomes another option for would-be pirates. Thus, the Content Scramble System, or CSS, was introduced to restrict access to content only for licensed application, meaning even if the DVD was recognized by the DVD player in a computer, certain applications or programs needed to play the video might now allow it. For tag embedding, similar to how pictures can include watermarks to denote information on the owner of the picture, tag embedding does the same of information content. Watermarks are not complete DRM mechanisms in their own right, but are used as part of a system for copyright enforcement, such as helping provide prosecution evidence rather than direct technological or legal purposes. Restriction in terms of data embedded into the actual content. The use of metadata is included to identify the owner's name, author, and date of purchase, among other pertinent information. Patent. A patent is a set of exclusive rights granted by a state to an inventor for a limited period of time in exchange for the public disclosure of an invention. The exclusive rights granted to a patentee in most countries is the right to prevent others from making, using, selling, or distributing the patented invention without permission. One example of a patented design is that of Apple's iPod. Trademark. A trademark is a distinctive sign used by an individual, business, organization, or other legal entity of identify the products or services to consumers. The marks comes from the unique source and it distinguishes its product, trademark, or service mark from the others. Rights in a mark shall be acquired through registration validly in accordance. Mark shall be acquired through registration made validly in accordance with the provisions of the IP code. For marks with geographical indications, a notice is starting that a given product originates is a given geographical area must be identified. This is relatively new in the Philippine IP regimes, as marks are identified based on the territory, region, or locality attributed. In the Philippines, one of the most popular trademarks based on locality is the Pampanga's Best Delicacies logo. Protection of undisclosed information. Industries and companies need to have information control, especially in dealing with sensitive industry secrets, to protect these industry secrets, also called trade secrets, Companies usually required employees to sign contracts with non-disclosure agreements or NDAs. Trade secret is the term used for any method, formula, device, process, or any information that gives the business a unique competitive advantage over its competition. It includes company research and development information, software, algorithms, inventions, designs, formulas, ingredients, and devices, among others. Examples of popular trade secrets are the formulation of Coca-Cola and Listerine and the recipe of Kentucky Fried Chicken or KFC. IPR terms of protection and penalties as stated in RA 8293. Copyright terms of protection generally throughout the life of the author plus 50 years after his or her death. Penalty, first offense, 50,000 to 150,000 and or 1 to 3 years imprisonment, and offense 150,000 to 500,000 and or 3 to 6 years imprisonment. Patient, 20 years time bond, not less than 1 million to not more than 300,000 and 1,000. Not less than 100,000 to more than 300,000 and or not less than 6 months to not more than 3 years imprisonment. Trademark, 10 years from the date of filing of the application. Penalty, 50,000 to 200,000 and 2 to 5 years imprisonment. 139. Informational privacy. The natural state of data is to be copied, logged, transmitted, stored, and stored again. This is why it takes constant fighting and vigilance to prevent that breach. So what is information privacy and how private is private? With Facebook and Twitter often being used as a means of venting out in public, others may say first may choice in telling everyone on Twitter what I want to say. Some might even reveal too much information which can be regarded or termed as inappropriate. However, again, it is their choice to tell everyone that is supposed to be private information. If that is the case, then what is data privacy? To highlight a portion of the Yahoo Privacy Policy of 2018 and its affiliates, including Yahoo, collect information from your devices. This information includes device-specific identifiers and information such as IP address, cookie information, mobile device and advertising identifiers, browser version, operating system, type of version, mobile network information, device setting, and software data information collection and use general. Knowing a person's IP address can help identify that person's physical location anywhere in the world. Of cookie is a small file that is stored in the computer's directory, often a temporary folder. The cookie contains addresses and websites visited, login credentials, and even credit card account numbers. This is done so that the next time the person visits the website, the computer system will no longer reload the same content or data, saving time and processing power for the computer. Obviously, however, this is dangerous, especially when using public computers such as those in internet shops. as the next user will be able to access the previous user's account without the latter's knowing it. Data Privacy Act 10173, the law defines sensitive personal information as being about an individual's race, ethnic origin, marital status, age, color, and religious, philosophical, or political affiliations, about an individual's health, education, genetic, or sexual life of a person, or to any proceeding or any offense committed or alleged to have committed, issued by government agencies peculiar, unique to an individual such as social security number and marked as classified by an exclusive order or an act of Congress. All processing of sensitive and personal information is prohibited except in certain circumstances. The exceptions are consent of the data subject pursuant to law that does not require consent, necessity to protect the life and health of a person, necessity for medical treatment, and necessity to protect the lawful rights of data subjects in court proceeding, legal proceedings, or regulation. It has also defined the concept of a security incident versus that are personal data breach.